I was familiar with the first movie. I'm a huge fan of John. I think he's a phenomenal actor. And in this film, I also really took to the added elements, not just Tim and Hilary's storyline, but also Bart's son's storyline and journey with diabetes, type 1. That's affected my family personally, and one of my dearest friends has type 1, and I'm there through her journey, and I see it all, and have really come to understand the weight of what living with that disease looks like. So I was really passionate about the story as a whole for many, many reasons and different layers. But then when I met with Andrew and Brent, I just was like, I remember one of the first things they said to me was, we're relationship people. So it was almost like we were getting to know each other, whether it worked for this movie or not. Let's grow this relationship. And lucky enough, it worked for this movie. But I really took to that, and I appreciated that. And, you know, it's a small world, a small business. Everyone knows everyone, but not everyone likes to work with everyone. And these guys are just good, soulful people. And I could talk to them forever. Hilary is so warm and very engaged, like great eye contact, really just kind of makes you feel like warm and comfortable. And I think she's like very interested in people, like she's a people person. But she's also really honest, you know, like for as kind and warm as she is, she has a way where she can kind of just like tell it like it is. And I think that's such a gift, to be able to be warm and also kind of like, yeah, here's the facts. Not everyone can do that. And the way that she is with Tim, I love that we're incorporating a giving key into Hilary's character, because it felt very much like something Hilary would wear, so there wasn't a stretch there. But I also just love that it's so deeply meaningful for me personally as well. So it's been fun playing with like little things where I can combine me with Hilary, with Anna's vision, with real Hilary, and what the guys, again, what we talked about was the reason she's kind of like cool and funky and edgy is it's a way to present her emotions without hitting people over the head with it. Milo, I met when I was 17. So to be here now, playing husband and wife in this, you know, full circle a few years later, it's really remarkable. Like, I never saw it coming. And Milo's so grounding and kind to everyone. He's super, like, he's kind of like dad vibes on set, bringing everyone together, making sure everyone's good and taken care of. And so I feel very taken care of working with him. I was such a fan of John before, just because I thought he was so, his presence in the film, like, you can tell he came from theater. Like, he's just so there all the time. And I really loved watching him, and I was super excited to work with him. And then everyone else, as soon as I landed, I was like part of this group text that just doesn't ever stop buzzing. It's like the cast is like, you know, you've got the bandmates, and it's just a giant love fest. And so my phone is always going off, and I'm like, man, I like, thank you for the initiation. I'm happy to be a part of it all. And everyone, Sophie is amazing. I feel lucky that, like, you know, as the two women kind of coming into this, we're side by side, and I'm a huge fan of hers, so I feel really lucky to be working side by side with her. I'd never been to Red Rocks. It so powerful. I walked on that stage, and I was like, whoa, do you feel that? Of course, everyone was like, yeah, it's the altitude. I was like, no, but there is something, like, sure, whatever. But really, too, like, I felt, it's like the energy there is powerful, and how can it not be? You know, it's such a special place, and the way that the rocks, yeah, like, just jet out from the sky. I found myself just staring at the rock formations, like, how did this happen? It's kind of like staring at the moon. You know, you keep thinking, I don't know. It kind of put me in a trance at times. And then to be there with the real band and see that they're like rock stars in their own right, and be able to sneak on stage with them during Happy Dance. And like, I don't know. The whole thing was surreal, really. I will remember forever. And I also really feel like it was an amazing bonding experience for our whole cast, because we were all feeling that energy together. We all really understood how special it was to be there together. When life throws you a super high or a super low, like, how do you learn to just cruise right down the middle, you know? And I think it's really relatable in a lot of ways, because of all of the real life stuff that happens. Gosh, I love watching them as a duo. You know, it's not easy to be co-directors and find one vision all of the time, you know, and they really work so great as a pair, and they're so respectful of one another. And even when it's like, you know, we're down to crunch time and every second counts, and Brent wants something and Andrew needs something, and you know, it's like, how do they do the dance? And I really just love watching them be so respectful to one another during the process, because these are like, set as joyful and creative as that is, it's also highly stressful. You know, like, you are trying to constantly put out fires, make your day. There's a lot of you're in charge of hundreds of people. You have to get the shot. You have to tell the story. There's this, and this. And, you know, it's like go time from the first action to cut every single day. And it's not easy to always be respectful during stressful moments. And from what I've observed, they are, and they also really don't hold back. Like, Andrew will be behind the monitor, like, yeah, great on camera. Hey, oh man, I'm emotional. You know, like, and it's like, that's fun to see too. It's really fun to see that they don't hold back when they're getting great stuff. Like, they're not too cool for that.